All right, hi everybody, I'm KHOU 11 meteorologist Pat Cavlin here with a look at your forecast on KHOU 11 Plus. Obviously, we're keeping an eye on the storms that just went through the area this morning. Those are now starting to wind down, so regardless of when you're watching this, the worst of the weather is over. But we had some pretty feisty storms go through the city earlier this morning. Check out the peak wind gust. A little bit of a caveat here. This wind gust was reported on the top of a building in the Med Center on one of the helipads. So it's not a wind gust that was reported at the ground. Obviously, the winds are stronger the higher up you go, but still 63 miles per hour. That is pretty impressive here. That was, again, in the Med Center right near downtown Houston. That storm, though, ended up moving down towards the coast. We didn't have any damage reports across the rest of the city. And you could see as of 12:30 this afternoon, those storms are now racing out towards areas like Galveston. You can see we're starting to get in on some heavier rain on the north side of the island right now. Eventually, the seawall is going to end up getting some as we get into the next 20 to 30 minutes. Nothing severe, though, just a good soaking heavy downpour. They're really, really slow moving those, so there may be some street ponding to worry about. There may be some high water spots on the feeder road. Just keep that in mind if you're going to be out driving down towards the coast here the next few hours. Man, what a slug of rain here. As we go from Jamaica Beach to Bay Harbor all the way into Freeport. I mean, this really has not moved a lot in the last hour. So again, some localized street flooding, some high water spots not out of the question for some of these areas. Now back to the north and west, it's a different story. The city is dry, but once you go west of the Grand Parkway here, west of Katy, it's still a steady soaking light rain. But that's enough to really keep the temperatures down. In fact, look at how cool it's gotten behind this. 70 in Columbus. It was 68 degrees the last reading that we got from Brenham. 72 for Tomball, 80 Bush. So it is warmer the farther east you go where we've had less rain. But some of these temperatures are the coolest numbers that we have clocked in these areas in weeks, if not months. So a really nice break from the heat so far this morning and early afternoon. I think if we can get some sunshine in here, though, over the next few hours, a lot of these areas will reach the upper 80s and maybe even the lower 90s. So the storms that are out there, the bottom line, they're coming to an end. We're going to see everything wrap up here in the next few hours. Getting into the middle of the week, we trend drier. High pressure moves in. It's a much, much quieter picture across the area. But while things here at home turn quiet, it is a different story in the tropics. Things are starting to heat up. We've got a new named storm and two other areas that we are keeping an eye on for potential development later this week. Let's take you through our local forecast first. The storms that are out there, again, starting to wrap up. Temperatures could warm up late with breaks of sunshine, upper 80s, maybe lower 90s. Getting into Tuesday, more sunshine, just an isolated storm chance. And it has to do with this area of high pressure here across the Texas Panhandle, Oklahoma. That nudges in a little bit closer, and that will really keep our rain chances to a minimum as we get into the middle of the week. And that means more heat with temperatures climbing into the upper 90s. So here are those rain chances. We go from widespread downpours and storms today to just an isolated 30% chance Tuesday, even lower than Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, featuring more sunshine and just a 20% isolated stray shower or storm chance all the way through the end of the week. So here it is on Future Track. We get you into Tuesday. Again, a few spotty downpours. And look, if you get caught in one of these, it's heavy rain. It could end up affecting most of the people in the viewing area, or it could end up being in a rural area. Who knows? But again, it's just an isolated chance. We're not expecting widespread coverage getting into Tuesday. And then for Wednesday, check this out. It's even fewer rain chances, just a 20% chance with some of these showers coming in off the Gulf on the sea breeze. So that's pretty much going to be the name of the game here as we head into the next few days. And the reason for it is, again, high pressure starting to slide in. That is going to put a lid on our rain chances here Wednesday, Thursday, probably into Friday as well. And it also means the temperatures start to increase, so we turn the heat up into the upper 90s, maybe even close to triple digits by Thursday and Friday. All right, so in the Atlantic, things are just, it's like we flipped the on switch all of a sudden. We've got our named storm, our new tropical storm Dexter. That's just northwest of Bermuda. Behind that, along the Carolinas, there's this highlighted area in yellow, which means right now it's a low probability of development, but that's in the next 7 days. And typically the way these things go is that as we get more model data, as things start to look a little more clear, either the chances disappear or these chances will start to go up. So that's a spot we'll have to keep an eye on just because it's so close to the U.S. And then we've got a new wave coming in off the west coast of Africa that may develop once it reaches the middle of the Atlantic, 50-50 odds in the next 7 days. So let's start with what we've got right now, and that is a tropical storm. It's Dexter. As of the 10 a.m. advisory, it's a 45-mile-per-hour tropical storm, so it's on the weaker side, but it is organized. The good news, though, it doesn't impact land here over the, really as we go through the rest of the week. Expected to maintain tropical storm strength probably through Wednesday evening, and then it becomes a little more extra tropical as it gets into the colder waters towards Thursday and Friday. But again, there's Bermuda, that little dot on the map there to the south. This is going to pass a couple hundred miles to the north of there, so this is not going to impact anyone except for the shipping lanes. So as we check out future track, there's Dexter. So this is the east coast here, Virginia, up towards New England and the northeast. Dexter moves out to sea as we go through the next few days. Some of the energy, though, from Dexter may kind of break off and drift south. And as that happens, it could encounter conditions that are favorable for development here towards the end of the week. So notice the time frame on this, Thursday. So that's when we're going to have to start keeping an eye on this thing. And you can see Future Track does try to organize something in this area. So we're looking just off the coast of South Carolina, again, probably 300-400 miles off towards the east. And the reason why we're seeing the potential for development here is because water temperatures are certainly warm enough to support it. Again, here's South Carolina, water temperatures low 80s here, but once you go out over the Gulf Stream, which is this ribbon of warm water here that comes in from the south, I mean, we've got mid-80 degree water temperatures. So that is more than enough to sustain and promote the development of a tropical system. So again, that's going to be the next area to watch as we get to the upcoming week. Then finally, our third area. This is nothing imminent right now, but that will be something I think we need to really watch carefully. It starts off as a tropical wave here coming off the west coast of Africa. What I'm showing to you on this map is all the yellow and the orange and the red color indicates spin in the atmosphere or vorticity. Whenever you see an organized cluster of it, a little ball of it, that indicates the potential for some development. So watch this here. You can see it kind of spinning, and then it gets into that development zone. And this is where we may start to see some organization here by Friday, maybe even into the weekend. And my gut tells me we'll probably be watching this one for quite a while. There are two options here. It either keeps tracking out towards the west, or it curves up and around an area of high pressure. It's way too early to say for sure, but that's the one that we're going to be watching as we get towards the end of the week. So far, though, we're only 4 names in, so it's been a very quiet start to the season so far. The next name on the list is Erin, and then after that, Ferdinand, or Ferdinand, whatever you want to say. So again, we'll see if we can get those 2 storms going as we get into the next week or so. But this is all just a reminder that we are starting to get towards the peak of hurricane season. It's been very quiet so far, and that's pretty typical. It's typical for us to stay quiet till the month of August. But once we get to August, things really start to ramp up fast. We've got about a month to go before we hit the peak of the hurricane season, which is September 10th. But pretty much from now through mid-October is when we are in our most active phase for storm development in the tropics. All right, doing a traveling for tomorrow across the Northeast. Weather looks nice. We'll see a mix of sun and clouds to mainly cloudy skies for areas from D.C. all the way up through Boston, but temperatures are nice in the 70s and 80s. Farther to the south, a mix of showers and storms here from Tallahassee to Atlanta, back into the Carolinas as well. Temperatures, though, really cool. Check out Atlanta's high temperature tomorrow. 75 degrees. That's nice. 94 for Tampa. We'll do 90s in Miami as well. 92 for New Orleans with some scattered downpours and storms. Across the state of Texas tomorrow, dry, sunny, and hot. 102 for Midland. 105 for El Paso. 93 for Dallas. 97 for us here in Houston and San Antonio. A couple spotty showers and storms for us, but that's pretty much it. Farther north, Kansas City, upper 80s with sunshine. Springfield, Missouri, 90 degrees, mix of sun and clouds. Chicago may have the best weather in the middle of the country tomorrow, 84 with tons of sunshine. A couple storms through North Dakota. Then you get into the southwest. Phoenix clocking in at 114 tomorrow, 106 for Vegas. Stunning weather, though, for the California coast from LA to San Francisco, mid to upper 70s with lots of sunshine. 98 degrees, by the way, up in Denver, and 95 for Salt Lake. Pacific Northwest, finally, Seattle, not bad. Should be dry, mainly cloudy though, 75 your high temperature, 90 for Medford, Oregon. We'll do near 90 for Boise. And again, some more heat continues to build across the Intermountain West. All right, there's that 7-day forecast for us here at home. 94 today with scattered downpours and storms wrapping up at the coast. We'll do an isolated storm chance then for Tuesday all the way through Friday. Temperatures stair-step their way through the upper 90s, close to the triple digits by Thursday and Friday. And then maybe an isolated storm chance continuing into the weekend. Temperatures getting back closer to where they should be this time of year in the mid-90s by the time we get to Sunday. That's a look at your forecast here on KHOU 11+. I will have another update coming up for you on the KHOU 11 News at 4, and we hope to see you then.